How will Tom recognize me? I'd never confide in Tom. Tom doesn't get an allowance. Tom had a tooth pulled last week. Why didn't you explain that to Tom? Why didn't you explain it to Tom? Tom bent down to pick up a stone. Tom asked me where I'd learned French. Tom asked me where I studied French. Tom was the only one who didn't bring a surfboard. We still haven't received any feedback from Tom. Have you ever heard Tom actually speak French? Have you ever heard Tom actually speaking French? Tom is off somewhere pouting. Have you ever actually heard Tom speak French? Have you ever actually heard Tom speaking French? It wasn't my intent to betray you. Tom looked as if he might start crying. If the doctor had gotten here a little sooner, he might have been able to save Tom's life. I didn't understand Tom's joke. Tom has borrowed money from all three of us. I wish that my French were as good as yours. I wish my French were as good as yours. Tom arrived on Monday and left 3 days later. Tom got here on Monday and left 3 days later. Tom was sitting at his desk, drawing a picture. If Tom doesn't get what he wants, he'll sulk and pout. That might not do a lick of good. Tom's voice began to tremble. There wasn't much we could salvage from the wreckage. Nothing seems to rattle Tom. Finding a place to park might be a problem. Admit defeat, Tom. My parents are very religious people. Wake up, Tom. We've arrived. Tom just stood there, pondering what might happen next. Tom mysteriously disappeared. You're under arrest for obstructing justice. We stayed in a quaint bed and breakfast by the sea. Our quarrel is with Tom, not you. I wonder whether we can salvage this situation. Please get to the point. Tom had no clue what was going on. We're acrobats. The kidnappers gagged Tom. That's a stink bug. Don't touch it. Tom's authority here is limited. Tom backed away, trembling with fear. Stop pouting. Did you buy a turtle? Have you corrected everything? Are you really a foreigner? You're very energetic. Who broke the pen? Write with a pen, please. Do you write with a blue or a black pen? I could see Tom's hands trembling. Remember to sip your drink, not gulp it. I can always tell when you're lying. Do you drink coffee with sugar or without? Didn't you know that bodies decompose? I never heard of someone stealing a muffler from a car before. Take off your tinfoil hat. You've been making too many mistakes recently. There may be several variants. Tom grabbed the duffel bag and slung it over his shoulder. You have excellent vision. Why are you wearing glasses? All I need is the mask, and my costume is complete. Lack of funding seriously impairs the ability of the police to solve crimes. Tom doesn't believe that all cops are bad. You could see the entire city from the top of the Ferris wheel. Tom believes that law and order must be maintained at all costs. I want to save a lot of money. I'll give you my books. Do you want more free time in your daily life? I know what to say, I just don't know how to say it. It's not always easy to combine school and work. I need to buy some insoles for my shoes. It's the ideal moment to buy. This is the solution to all your problems. I didn't think that Tom would betray me. That's one reason we suspect sabotage. Do you always keep your word? Do you suspect anyone? Tom just stood there, wondering what might happen next. This plan stinks. How long can you go without breathing? Update the app. Which sound is the hardest for you to pronounce? This is dynamite. Your plan is good, but mine is better. At what age do children usually start to walk? Can you hold my shopping bags for me? In the dim light, Tom saw someone approaching him. The place stinks of cigarette smoke. Drying this fabric at a high temperature may cause shrinkage. I'm looking at what's on the menu. I have a bottle of beer in my backpack. A micrometer is 1/1,000,000th of a meter. How many elevators are in this building?